Alright, response video to Professor Anton. Again, another one. I know. Anyway, so I'll skip the first couple of minutes because it was just a little too sappy. Apparently it's a response video to some, I don't know, this concept. Can non-believers comfort believers? I don't know. I mean, is that our job, is to comfort them? It's really not what philosophy is supposed to be about. You're supposed to be having conversation, in my opinion, about what the truth is. So here's how he phrases it.
I think maybe a different way to set the context is to begin with the question of to what extent do we value truth? I think
Right.
there have
Yeah.
been a lot of discussions, disputes on YouTube.
Okay, sorry, yeah, I gotta reload my browser. I hit the button and it takes a while. Anyway, yeah, there have been a lot of discussions, and you're still just running away from a conversation that has the necessary language to talk about the truth. You cannot resort to ambiguous mush all the time. I mean, I know that's what you want to keep doing, is keep making life more complicated than it is, keep people confused, and that's how you play the game. But that's not how you play the truth game.
Where people have said, truth isn't just psychological. Now, even if there is a psychological component to truth, there is a kind of truth of reality, a
Yeah, I see. This doesn't make any sense. Truth isn't only psychological. I mean, I can't even begin to say. Well, now you've already started with an upside down concept. Truth has absolutely nothing to do with your psychology. That's where you find the lie. That's where every manipulation of your perspective will come from, is from feelings. Okay? Psychology is death to the truth. We're designed, okay, to kill the truth by our psychology. Our psychology makes us eat some things and not eat other things. It makes us run from some things and not run from other things. That's what psychology does. It biases perspective. It forces perspective. It's to be eliminated from a conversation of truth as only describing it as a function, but never listening to the psychology.
truth of this world. There's truth, there's facts of the matter that are beyond people's subjective awareness of the truth.
Beyond subjective awareness, and now we're in trouble again. What? So you mean that there's a truth hidden from our capacity to diagram it, to write it down, to describe it? It's an undescribable truth. Well, I guess you could say there are sensations that kind of, you just can't put it on a piece of paper and say this is what a sensation is like, and you can't explain it to something that's never felt it. Yeah, that's true. You can't draw a picture of consciousness, not easily. It's a hard picture to draw. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about that, right? I mean, the neural function, you can't just sit there and write it down on a piece of paper and say this is neural function, and everybody who ever sees it will understand exactly what you're talking about. Um, yeah, that's not going to happen tomorrow anyway. But it's sort of irrelevant. Who cares? We know enough about it. We can't describe it, but we can describe what its function is, and we describe how it functions.
Truth. And if we really value that, if one, maybe almost like a
I mean,
science,
I find this really annoying. Yeah, that you keep talking about how you're implying that if one really values this, as if you value the truth, and you slander the truth. An abuser of facts. You are a perverter of the truth. The truth is built by context, and the context of our existence is clear. We understand the biological truth now. We understand the chemical truth now. We're even starting to understand how this thing is manipulating everything that takes place, and it's just programs running. All right, it's game over for this mumbo jumbo of seeing yourself as some sort of thing that isn't made out of things.
if one deeply
Damn it.
values truth, then I don't think one could maintain that it's better to have not been.
Well, I mean, what a way to say something, right? So, I mean, is that how we should veil everything? If one values truth, I don't think you could ever believe in any kind of austerity program that denies people fundamental resources. It's an abuse of the truth to deny the needs of the people. I mean, this is just propaganda. This is a stump speech. You're playing a game here. There's no truth value to the argument you're going to make here. You're not going to make an argument from facts. You're going to make an argument from sympathy and mush and emotion. All right? And that's called bullshit, Professor. Oh, this really should be working, and it really is pissing me off that it's not sticking. Because that's its job, is to stick.
Than to have been, even if that having been is a short and unfortunately painful existence.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you could talk for other people. I really, that's really being bold. All right, so yeah, you're born retarded. You live 21 years. You have 53 surgeries. You spend most of your life miserable, crying, wanting, begging, and yeah, that's okay. Yeah, sorry. I mean, even very famous people with great lives can't seem to keep it together. They can't seem to keep out of the drug bag and out of the fuck up bucket. They can't seem to stay out of any of trouble at all because life is that hard. Even when they have $1 million, they're still squirming like a bug through their life. Silly, sick addictions, silly, sick deprivations they put themselves through. So, no sale, Professor.
That the very awareness of the truth of existence, and when I say that, the range of it, everything from
The range of the truth. So here we go. This is more of this manipulation. You know, like there's somehow the truth has a range. Like there's all kinds of things that'll fit into the truth funnel, the truth peg hole thing. It doesn't have to really be the truth. It can be this, or it can be that, or it can be any other made up. It sticks to the side of the goddamn liquor bottle, but it won't stick to this goddamn fucking thing. It's really irritating. Let's spray some shit on it. Let's see if that'll do it. Spray. Just want a little bit, not a lot. yeah, okay. I know it's the middle of the video, but god damn it, this thing's supposed to be sticking. It's pissing me off. Ooh, that's a good effect, though. Blur vision. Ooh. Yeah, that light in the background's really fucking things up. That sunlight thing. Anyway, where was I? You're just gonna. This is just so unfair. Again, you're now trying to romanticize the truth into not being a thing. It's not the truth. It's not one thing. You can have multiple truths, and it's all about your little perspective again. And you just sit there and attempted to say you're not going to play the subjectivist game, but that's exactly what you're playing. You're saying that we can just all make it up. You know, any bullshit you can pull out of your imagination. Well, there's the truth. No. No.
animals running around eating each other to, I don't know, to cool breezes and tropical shady groves. And
These are not describers of truth. Describers of truth are things like a DNA molecule, genes changing, gladiator wars, the idea of survival of some idiotic notion of fitness that's based on merely what your competitors are. So, you know, you're the greatest thing in the universe if all you're competing against is mushrooms. And, you know, you're nothing, you're dead, you're horribly brutalized if you're competing against solid steel, you know, stainless steel man. You know, I mean, it's just bullshit. So just depending on what environment you're thrown into describes who you are. No, you are something, all right, a definable thing. And stupid circumstances shouldn't be defining your fate.
and rainbows and full moons and the horror of war, of all the cruelty around.
Yeah, well, you just threw all that out because you just sit there and all you have to do is mention shade tree, potato chip, and everything. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes it all worthwhile. Because you're just throwing it out there like just like nothing, like it's just a word, and it's this much word against 5 letters against 17 letters. It's not even you can't even come close to being honest or fair to these concepts. You can't just throw out, oh, all the war horror. You just can't do that because we can't put that in our brains and appreciate exactly what that means. Millions upon millions of people dying slow and hard, choking on their own whatever, bodily fluids. Yeah, how much would I pay to avoid that? How much would I pay to avoid having my kids taken away, seeing my wife maybe gassed and slowly dying of typhus? Yeah, how much would I pay to avoid that charming experience? Well, I would pay every single thing I can imagine in the universe because there's nothing in this universe worth that. Nothing.
Of avalanches and earthquakes and destruction, um, of of stars and of imagination and of dreams,
Yeah,
of
smiley turtle. Look, little smiley turtle. Yay, happy vagina. Yeah, blah blah blah. We just go down. We'll just all make lists of little happy pappy bullshit. Little fluffy this and little sad that and blah 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 and say that's the truth. That's how you logically and methodically and carefully analyze what the life experiment is. That's how you take a science. That's what the scientists are all doing, right? They're just making a mushy list. What's my personal mush list? I mean, this is just such a bullshit. No, what you do is you take as wide a view as possible, and you see what the game dynamic is, and you say, what's this experiment accomplishing? What are we going to figure out from this experiment? What are these rats dying for? What is this all happening for? Oh, so we can redundantly do something that doesn't need to be done, so we can keep generating needs that don't need to exist. Hmm. That's the question you've got to deal with. Why create a need that doesn't need to exist? I mean, answer the question. And don't answer the question because somebody needs the need to exist, because that's not good enough. You have to come up with something external, something real, not something just saying because people want to. That's not good enough. Because you think so. That's not an answer. What's the need for the need? Generation. What justifies it as being something that needs to be created? Why create something that just going to need more creation? Why not just stop making the things that need the creation? If that's all the experiment does, is satisfy the notions in the experimenter's head. It doesn't do anything else. It just satisfies his need to have an experiment. Well, why not just stop him from needing the experiment?
a fanciful organism who was able to dream of divinities.
Well, what I don't even know why that's supposed to impress us. So if dogs acquire the ability to dream of super dog, then what? That means something. Dogs have gone over some sort of important plateau. Now their life means something. Now their welfare means something. Now if they're kicked in the face, it's somehow going to mean more because they can dream of super dog. I don't think so.
To have not been, I mean, not only does it not make sense to say it would have just as well been better to have not been, because you don't have any frame of
You don't. You always have a frame of comparison. You just glorified human imagination, and then you just denied us the existence of human imagination. We can imagine Martians on Mars. They don't exist, but we can imagine. We can put them there, and we can just as easily extract something that already exists and say, well, what would happen if they didn't exist? We can do it all the time. We imagine dinosaurs roaming the earth. They don't exist anymore. They did exist in the past, and we can still understand existence of dinosaurs. So this isn't something impossible to do. This isn't something beyond our capacity. Our imagination can fill in the blanks. That's what it's there for. It's a blank filler inner. It's there to model the world and figure out where the potholes are, so it needs to fill things in. It needs to create the future world so we know how to navigate, because the future is where we're always pointed. That's where we're always headed. So it has to create an image of that future and show us where, that's a trap over there. Yep, don't want to go there. That's all downhill over there, and there's raspberries over there. So go that way. That's what your brain is for.
Comparison for the better. That is, if you wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have known that it was better. That is, you had to have been in order to have the comparative sense.
Well, whatever. Like I said, you don't need to do any of that stuff. All you can do is understand that, yeah, everything I did in my life really wasn't worth it. I put the good against the bad. It was just a desire game. I was in the chase. I was deluded, and that's all there is. There's no other story here than just a waste of time.
But if one really believes in the truth, right?
Well,
And I
again,
think
so
there's
now a
something.
plea to the truth again. Like you're talking truth. You're talking emotional babble, and you're gonna call that the truth. You don't see how this should not offend somebody? I mean, damn, this is like the truth of the Bible, people, or something. Like their word is the truth. Their 2,000-year-old fairy story is the truth. You don't see how somebody could say, God damn, that's irritating. Where do you get that from? Where do you get your authority to use the word truth and then spout this mush, this untestable mush?
Noble about having been invited into existence.
Yeah, right. So this is the truth. We were invited. We were sent an invitation. We accepted the invitation to play idiot game. To be a fucking moron, okay? Caught in a trap, in a fucking maze game built by a molecule. And that's noble. The noble thing to do is accept your status. Be the pawn. Get chewed up by the stupid, idiotic game that satisfies no purpose whatsoever. That accomplishes nothing. It just redundantly consumes idiot suckers like you. I mean, but yeah, phrase it as if we got an invitation in the mail and that we said we RISP'd or whatever, RSPI'd or whatever the fuck we did. Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
And it's not about, what do you want to say? The issue isn't about just looking the other way and saying, yeah, life is rough and you're going to have to deal with it and accept that as part of the deal. I don't think that's the part at all.
Well, I'm sorry, Professor. That's exactly what you're saying. And now you say, that's not what I'm not saying you have to just sit back and take it up the ass. That's exactly what you're saying. You're giving us no alternative. You're saying this is what it is. It's a shit game. Too bad. Okay, you can fix it on the fringes, but the basic game is always going to suck and tough shit. Take it, fucker. Be noble. You just said that. I mean, fuck.
I think it is to appreciate that everything is on loan to you. Everything was never yours to begin with.
Well, whatever. Again, see, now just make it sound like somebody's being selfish or they're trying to take too much from life or they're asking for too much. And we have to be grateful that we got our piece of bread. That, I mean, what, this is just so manipulative to play this game. Like it's like somehow you're being the generous, grateful and appreciative people because you're fighting for the game. You're gonna enslave more suckers in another forced march. And the only ones that count in the first forced march are the noble idiots right at the front. Yeah, right. The ones who say, fuck this, I'm going home, and just sit down and die. Oh no, they're playing the game wrong.
you've been invited to witness and to be a participant in.
The most, the biggest, most preposterous humiliation of intelligence. I really have to reboot. The biggest spectacular humiliation of the concept of intelligence in the history of the universe. Of course, as far as we know. But yes, you're just humiliating intelligence. There's no point in us having intelligence. It's all we're going to do with it is make up models that are pretty. They make up models that justify ourselves or aggrandize ourselves or all of that crap. If that's what you're going to do with your logic and your rationality, is just compose schemy little poetic bullshit to make a lie sound like it's a good thing to eat. And that's all you're doing. You're just putting a smiley face on absolute fucking bullshit. Yeah, that's humiliating in my opinion. That's an embarrassment to be part of. I'm sorry I'm in this parade because this parade is embarrassing.
Something immense and that so surpasses you that you've been dignified by simply being able
Yeah,
to witness it.
isn't that amazing? Yeah, really. I'm what? The replication of a DNA molecule. Immense on what kind of scale? We are fungus on a goddamn one little teeny piece of the universe. Um, so it's not even that immense. And what's the immense thing that happened? Okay, the immense thing that happened was is yes, you do have a very complex neurology, billions of cells, incredible, incredible complexity built out of nothing, out of just parts, okay, but over billions of years, and we know how it was manufactured. And so, yeah, you can sit there and just marvel at the just the bizarre complexity of it. Just a little tiny piece of it is hugely complex, and that is something to, whoa, holy shit, time can do some fucked up shit. But that's all there is. There's no other immensity, Professor. The rest of the immensity is just your own ego, okay? Clinging desperately to something that validates it.
And the suffering, the hardship, as much as it is something we all don't want, and it's something.
Yeah, it's something that we all don't get to fairly bargain for. Okay, you should, yeah, make you the victims. Make anybody who raises their hand and says yes or votes for it, let them be the victims. Okay, let's make it a really fair game, and let's point the fucking gun barrel at only the people who vote for it. Okay, I vote we stop playing with the gun. Okay, so I shouldn't be getting any bullets. All right, none should come my way. It all should be dumped right on your fucking head, asshole. I mean, this is just such bullshit. Who are you to say that your perspective is the correct perspective? That this whatever this noble crap you're pulling is the way to go. It's a futile, pointless march nowhere. The rational perspective, in my opinion, is just to sit down and say, fuck this. And more rational approach would be to say, how can we stop this from ever happening again? How do I stop Frankenstein monsters from existing? Well, the easiest way is to stop that stupid idiot, Dr. Frankenstein.
That those of us who have lived through the hardship of family members dying and of close friends dying and dealing with all of the kinds of what seem to be deeply, deeply unjust hardships and cruelties.
Just silly and pointless ones. Yeah, little fluffy kitty. Run over. Yeah, whatever. You're just gonna keep validating it. Oh well, we have American Idol and we have Dancing with the Stars, so it's got to be worth it, right? We have lots of good liquor, eh? Yeah, no, we got shit.
We can minimize them the best that we can, and we can help each other and be with each other and be resourceful, as I think Wayman is calling people here to do, which is it's really quite beautiful.
Yeah, right. Just blow shit up each other's ass. Yeah, I mean that's really, well. I'm not charmed by that personally. Personally, I just am not. I mean, I know you people all like that shit, and somehow that you could feed on that way. I don't want to be fed through my ass. So yeah, it doesn't work for me in the first place, just as a person. Okay, that's not really going to comfort me any. Your little bibbly babbly boo doesn't do shit. Okay, it just doesn't undo the bullshit. Um, and maybe it works for you. Okay, maybe those chocolate filled money, maybe that's real money to you, but it's not to me.
But I think to also keep within the context the kind of gratitude that
what
comes
fucking morality does evolution give you? It gives you fuck-tarded, ego-maniacal, crazy
Yeah, this
shit.
is my video
Doesn't have any
broken.
rationality.
Thank you, Gary.
It's just fuck-tarded, stupid behavior
Tell 'em.
that's in the interest of DNA. Doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with any ethics. Nature doesn't give you any fucking...
Yeah, it doesn't give you a fair fight. That's right. Nothing to get noble about. There's nothing noble in playing a bad game.
imagining oneself as fully oneself, but instead seeing oneself as partly on loan, on borrowed time, on materials that are made up from the cosmos. You're of the...
Yeah, right. So get all gooey again because, wow, you're made out of stardust. Yeah, it's a literal truth, but it really doesn't mean anything. Except to little kids. Yeah, maybe you can fool them with that Santa Claus bullshit. That romantic little notions of happily ever after. Yay! It's a lie. There's pointless ever after. And all there are deluded, idiotic notions in people's heads that say, I'll make more of it. Why? Because I want to. Not for any rational reason whatsoever.
world. You're not simply in it. And I think some of the agony of life's suffering and its pain, it comes from imagining a deep down self that could be other than in the situations that it's in. It's
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, part of the pain is that's right, we can imagine better. That's always going to be a context for it, but let's get real. All right, there's no context. When your leg breaks, you hear that crack and your leg, your foot's all up here. Yeah, context is really fucking irrelevant, Professor. And most of life's pain isn't, there isn't much you can do about it. Yeah, you can play little psych games and all that stuff, so go ahead and play them to make yourself comfortable, but don't use them as lies to say life is okay because we can just take it like noble people. Yeah, go ahead, run over the cat, give my wife cancer. It's okay with me because I'm a tough noble man. Fuck that.
the thought about it possibly being otherwise that oftentimes makes it so difficult. That the acceptance of what is there and realizing...
Yeah, just more accept your role, part of the Borg, okay? Be manipulated by the DNA, be manipulated by the human culture, be manipulated by human ego, be manipulated by all the entities that we know logically have no reasonable authority. Their authority comes from nothing, from nowhere. They have no credibility as a source of anything called the truth.
that it's an ego's thought of a clinging to a belief that it could be otherwise, that it might have been otherwise, that adds to the pain.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's the rational thing to do. That's what, again, that's what our brains are supposed to do, is to see things that shouldn't have been and then try to prevent them. You know, and you're denying us the basic function. And you're just saying, well, turn off the basic function of your brain, which is to learn from your experience what is the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, and productive and destructive, and in long-term and short-term gains or long-term profit and all this other bullshit. Yeah, forget about being rational and logical. Just keep being a fucking 5-year-old imbecile and do as you're told.
Called
I mean,
The Universe
fuck
Doesn't
that.
Have a Self. And in there, he's
Oh, the professor's video is playing. Alright, gotta get over this.
Conscious of itself. And he does mention my name there. And I
Gotta
wanted to
wait.
somewhat defend the position.
Yeah, right. Defend the position. Mush,
Worsens
mush,
the
mush,
pain,
mush.
can prevent meaningful transcending of it toward acceptance.
Yeah, right. Look, we see people do that all the time, right? They're so desperate. I gotta see my grandkids one more time. So yeah, go ahead. Implant anal tissue in my brain, and whatever. They'll do whatever it takes because they're so fucking desperate. We've seen what desperate people will do. They'll kill other people. They'll kill them because they're so desperately hungry for something. Yeah, be like the rest of the morons and be so desperately hungry that you'll take this humiliation, you'll take this degradation, you'll take this fucking brutality right up your ass because you're so fucking desperate. Yeah, because you have such a preposterous ego.
It doesn't get rid of the pain. You can't make the pain vanish, but you can change the pain by giving it an understanding of, I guess, one's humble lot and dependent character upon what is utterly transcendent to us. And I think this is where the issue of prayer becomes so interesting.
That's just a pile of horseshit, Professor. I'm sorry. That is just a pile of horseshit. All right? That kind of humble thinking is not going to get the pain. It's not going to make it easier. The only way you're going to make the pain easier is you have to make there something for you to fight through it for. That there's some sort of purpose in it. All right? And if you don't see a purpose in it, if you don't contrive a God or some other bullshit telling you it's the thing you must do, it's the honorable thing to do, or turn into some other ego thing where you're going to feel embarrassed or in some way you've violated something, you've cheated, you've, fucked the drunk woman, or done something wrong if you don't eat the shit. That's all it's about. It's just finding some reason, some personal incentive to climb over a pointless hill full of fucking spikes, nails, and bullshit. Because there's something on the other fucking side you must have.
Completely agree. Prayer to me should never, some people don't pray at all. I think those people who do pray, the people that I know who pray, the prayers aren't to a deity to get that deity to do something for oneself, to oneself, or to vanquish a foe, something like this, to intervene. I think it's more like this, that
well, who even does that anymore? Who even does that kind of... I don't even think people who pray do that kind of prayer, because that you already lose all hope for when you're 5 years old. You figure out that doesn't work. All right? That you can't... He'll never intervene. He doesn't intervene for anybody ever. Okay? So that was already a given. That ain't gonna work. So yeah, you have to do it in some kind of backhanded way. Like, okay, I'll pray for that guy over there, and then God will think I'm a good guy, and then he'll help me. You start bargaining prayers. What a pile of shit. Give me the strength. I pray for strength so I can pointlessly do this nonsense. So I can just humiliate myself some more and eat some more of this fucking vile barf.
Only be as you can be in relationship to other people. That is, you gained your personhood first originally from other people, and then as you learn to talk to others and as they learn to talk to you, you learn to talk to yourself. And your possible self-relation is an ongoing,
whatever. This is all bullshit anyway. There's no science that says this is anything necessary. Animals do perfectly fine. They sail across the ocean, land on deserted islands, and they figure out how to live. They hatch there even. So, please, spare me. This mumbo jumbo. And as I've grown to know what people are, why the fuck would I find anything related to them to be meaningful to me? They're complete assholes. They built shit as a civilization. They talk, babble, and mush. They don't give a fuck about anything that means anything real. They're all chasing crap, and they're all accepting crap. Why the fuck would I find connection to the rest of these assholes as something good? No, that's going to depress the fuck out of me. If people are a little tiny bit honest, they're not going to feel too proud of being, I'm a member of the human race. Yeah, the other one has the world wars and, you know, fucks each other in the ass all over the place and screws everything the fuck up and has all the little wheels of bullshit running in their head and cheats on everybody and steals everything. And yeah, those assholes. I'm one of them. Yeah, no, it doesn't just fill me full of, yeah, how cool is that? No, that sucks, actually. I hate being on this team. This team sucks. Team Human sucks.
It's an appendage that emerged out of self-other relations. And prayer is a kind of self-relation with an idealized, I guess, an ultimate idealized interlocutor.
Yeah.
It's imagined.
It's just an ultimate idealized idea. Yeah, let's all fuck the idea. Fuck that. Yeah, really, fuck that idea. Yeah.
In the sense that imagination is one of the resources of this world.
Except the kind that's applied logically. So if you use your imagination logically, you suck. Yeah, but if you use it to create delusions of grandeur and delusions of purpose, well, then you're playing the game the right way. Yeah.
It's not fanciful, if by that we mean false. It's one of nature's strangest and most mysterious fruits.
Sorry, it's not strange and mysterious. None of that shit. No. I'm sorry, it's just not. This is the basic function of a brain. This is the basic function of a brain, okay, is to do complex reflexes. And the only way you can do complex reflexes is part of the reflexes have to be creating the environment the other reflexes are reacting to. And that's the origin of imagination. That's what imagination is to create a false reflex. To create a it's not false, but a synthetic reality to react to, to avoid doing it in reality wrong. See? You can figure out the right and wrong in your imagination, and then you can apply the right to the real world. It's practice. That's what it is, Professor. That's right, it's practice. Imagination is practice.
The imagination. And people can imagine a interlocutor with whom they can talk about who they ought to be, how they ought to come to terms with their world, and prayers in that light
yeah,
become...
well, whatever. Yeah, you're going to pray to your imaginary friend. I mean, is that not what you just said? Like, we should all have imaginary friends, and then we should beg to our imaginary friends for solutions. Yeah, fuck that.
Prayers of wanting strength and courage and resolve and acceptance, patience.
Yeah, all the things idiots have.
They're
Retards,
about expressing
morons.
gratitude and thanks.
Moron.
They're about
morons.
Perhaps cursing the injustices, but not to a being. I think.
Yeah, not to a being. Yeah, well, again, and what's the point of cursing it if you don't mean it? If you don't mean it, then don't say it. Okay, so if I'm going to curse it, then that means it's fucked. And that means you either fix it or you break it all the way. You either unplug it or you fix it. Those are your two choices here. You don't keep playing it broken. That's stupid.
More strategic a person realizes that prayer is ultimately an issue of self-relation. I think they learn to realize that it's about an idealized sense of self that can be accomplished by understanding what's going on. And none of it has to be a whitewash. None of it has to be...
You just did the whitewash. You just did it, Professor. I mean, you whitewashed all the suffering and all the misery, and you just basically said that somehow that just do it for the idea of parade. Okay, just ignore it's a shitty parade. Just ignore it's a death march. Just call it parade, okay? And everything will be okay. Delude yourself. Lie to yourself in the name of the truth. I mean, that's how convoluted, perverse, nonsensical this babble is. This is just fucking babble. in the name of maintaining the Tower of Babel, in the name of maintaining a lie about what it is to be alive on planet Earth, what it is to be a consciousness, how exactly we are, still, fundamentally, flatworms. And we're just doing it with a little more imagination. That's all.
Falsifying. The truth is, and this is the ultimate truth,
Oh, yeah.
that each person who comes into existence is now a part of everything that has ever existed and ever will.
Wow, isn't that amazing? So once something is a thing, it's in the category of things. Wow. You made it to the thing category. Holy shit. I mean, isn't that like passing one of those tests in like grammar school? Like, you didn't shit your pants today and you get a blue star because you didn't shit your pants today? I mean, come on. You napped properly? You didn't spill your milk? I mean, what? Yeah, let's all give ourselves a trophy. Let's all get all gooey and shit because we're all things in the category of things. Yeah. Amazing. I think that's all I gotta say to this shit. It's fucking amazing. And all those loser Martians, right? All those loser Martians never got to be things. Na 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 na. Ha ha on them. And the Plutonians. Ha 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 ha.